hour 3 on this Thursday morning. Stick with us. Straight ahead, we'll have all your local headlines this hour. Mike Baca checking in. He's in SoCal with the Wildcat basketball teams, getting ready for some action tonight. He'll have sports. And, of course, Anthony's forecast, all straight ahead on this Thursday morning. We want to start this hour, though. Special guest joining us in the studio doing some good work. Sean Farley joins us with what's called the Military Minute. Sean, good morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Step up to that mic a little bit.
No worries, yeah.
All right. So, first of all, thanks for reaching out, because this seems like we were talking before we came on here. Let's start with the Military Minute. What's it all about?
Well, a good friend of mine, Brett Pruitt, who owns Cast and Custom, we've worked together for years now, one day came to me and goes, "Hey, Sean, why don't you do a podcast? Why don't you do something that gets a little bit more of your experience and stuff out there?" And so I scratched my head and I thought about it for quite a while and looked at competing podcasts and other things, and there's a lot of veteran podcasts out there that are doing great work. So what else could I do to make it better? And so we kicked this idea around. We went to Pueblito and Durham and had a margarita, and we were talking about, well, what about a show? You know, you travel a lot. My dad and my son and I travel to locations all over the U.S. as much as we can. And our big trip last year was to Des Moines, Iowa for the MVPA convention, which is Military Vehicle Preservation Association convention. And on the plane ride over, I'm like, boy, if I could just document this and bring these stories and veteran experiences to light in an entertaining way, show people things that, you know, they're not maybe going to travel to Des Moines, Iowa, but show them the shows and the people that are restoring this history for people and bring it to the forefront. And so that was kind of the birth of the show. And from there, it's just kind of rolled and rolled and rolled. And we want to keep enhancing our ability to teach and preserve history at our small museum in Durham. And if I can make this show profitable and then support our museum and our teaching, that's my ultimate goal.
Now, we talked a little bit about the museum. Never knew.
It's not
Small
public.
Museum in Durham. Okay,
Correct.
It's not public. Okay.
Nope, it's by
All right.
appointment, and you can find us on social media. And I have most people tell me, I had no idea this was here.
First I've learned it.
Right, and we have about a dozen vehicles in different stages of either running or in restoration. But we can take kids for tank rides, Jeep rides. The half track's almost done.
Did I hear tank ride?
Tank rides. We have a small Australian 8,000-pound fully tracked vehicle that we take to shows and give kids rides in, and adults.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the inner child in all of us wants to ride in a tank. So
Well, tell it's more than just the vehicle preservation, though, because you're actually the whole gist of it, I guess, is to talk to veterans about their experiences. Now, we talked a little bit coming on. They aren't very open sometimes about what they actually went through.
no, it's
And I'm sure you've experienced that.
Yeah,
your experience as well.
I'm not anything special. I
Have
went
you
over
talked to your son about
a little bit.
experience? I know he's young, but
We're starting to get there.
Okay.
He knows places in Iraq I served and different stories. He's seen pictures I've shown him, and he has a gist of it. But as he gets a little bit older, he's almost 11, and he gets a little bit older, the understanding keeps increasing.
Sure.
I've taught him a lot about my father's service in Vietnam, his grandfather's service in World War II, my older sister who was a captain in the Air Force, and our family lineage in the military is pretty deep. And just trying to educate him, and he then educates others, whether they're willing to listen or not. He talks about it all the time. His teachers call him a walking military encyclopedia.
good for him.
And he can tell you facts and things that I can't keep in my head, but he's all about it.
Well, we need that generation to keep it moving.
Keep it alive, absolutely.
So tell us about the Military Minute itself, not just talking about how you preserve these and vehicles and rehab those and do that, but also talking to these veterans, some of the stories, because you were even talking, one of your grandfathers, what a trek he had.
My grandfather,
service.
yeah, absolutely. My grandfather left Iowa and came to the West Coast for aerial gunnery school and searchlight school, and then shipped off to North Africa, served North Africa to Italy, came across by boat back to France, and then ended up in Germany at the end of the war. Spent 3 years overseas, and came home, all of his fingers and toes, and that's all we can ask for.
That's right.
My company in Iraq, we had 3 killed and 22 wounded out of our 96, and we left here from Chico, California, Alpha Company, the 579th Engineers, and those guys that didn't come back, and then my other soldiers, those are my heroes still today. And I look up to my dad and all of our family members that have served.
So let's get into a little bit then, not just, you're doing videos here. You have somebody here, your producer, shooting a video this morning. The websites, and then let's get into a little bit of the fundraiser that you have coming up, where some of this will be debuted.
We
show off to folks.
I was lucky enough to meet a guy named Chase Looney out of Durham, and we hit it off. I called him just out of the blue and said, "Hey, I have this idea. Do you have time to chat?" And he came out, and we just he loved the vibe and the energy, as he puts it, and we just kind of went from there. I lined out our script. I lined up a first place to do it, which was the Chico Air Museum, something in our backyard. And it's funny, people still today, I didn't know Chico had an air museum. Yeah,
it's a great place.
It's free. Come on out, bring your kids, check it out. So I talked with Norm Rosine, who's the director there, and said, "Hey, can we come in and film?" "Absolutely. What do you need? How can we help you?" Which was tremendous. And I said, "Hey, here's our idea. We want to film it. We want to let people know, show kids that they can come out, learn about aviation, space travel, military history, everything." And then we sat down with my dad and did an interview over his 30-year career. He spanned Vietnam all the way. He spent 2 weeks in Ukraine training the Ukrainian forces with Operation Trident before he retired. He retired a first sergeant. And so with that kind of history, I documented that as my first interview because I couldn't think of somebody better than to record his history and get it out there. So our premiere is at the Chico Airport at the Air Museum on the 24th from 2 to 5. There's a social hour from 2 to 3. Program begins at 3, and then our first episode goes live on our social media platforms. We've got YouTube, X, and Rumble is going to be our streaming platforms. And then same way, we'll have a live on Facebook. We'll be live there, and then you can click over and view it. And our social medias, Facebook, The Military Minute, and Instagram, The Military Minute. And I document what we do in our museums and our travel, and my 3 kids that love to help and love being a part of it.
And if somebody just, loving what they're hearing this morning and wants to help out, donations, because I know you say you're traveling all over the nation to talk to veterans. And
this isn't just U.S. veterans or California veterans. The idea is just to get stories, to bring those stories to light, record them, and get them on for the future generations to understand, because without understanding, you're doomed to repeat. So our website is www.militarymin.com. Reason behind that is the Military Minute was $7,000 to buy the domain name.
Understood.
So pinching pennies wherever we can. We have a donate link in there. We also have it at our event on the 24th. We'll have a person that's able to take donations. We've got some silent auction raffles. Plane rides and different things that are going to be there for people to hopefully support us and get the word out.
Sounds good. And then the launch, it's on the 24th, you said.
24th.
Get this going.
Yes, sir.
So a lot of good stories so far.
I've had some amazing stories of not just combat, but just where they were in time periods of history. To have somebody that was there, that saw it, that wasn't necessarily pulling a trigger, but was there experiencing it and can relay that to it.
From all generations.
From all generations, yeah. I've got an interview lined up with a Pearl Harbor survivor here shortly, from Chico. Yeah. He's here in Chico, and all the way through our Vietnam vets to Iraq and Afghanistan. Our second episode is featuring World War II Dodge vehicle restorations. So then I'm sitting down with an awesome man named Shane Lazzini, who is a recon Marine in Afghanistan, and I've got a Vietnam vet and now a Afghanistan vet, and we're going to document everything in between that we can. So
it's the Military Minute, February 24th, Chico Air Museum, starting at 2.
Starting at 2.
That's right. So
program begins at 3, and we end at 5, and you're kicked out. So
there we go. Sean, you're doing good work, man.
Thank you,
This
sir.
sounds great.
I appreciate it.
Keep in touch.
I
Let
sure
us know
will.
how it's going.
Absolutely.
We're glad to support this, of course, anything for our veterans. So
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sean. Good work.
Thank you.
And tell your son, good job, too.
I sure will.
Love to hear that we have an 11-year-old out there.
I'll bring him on
his history.
I'll bring him on the air next time we're here.
Yeah, bring him along. All right, 13 minutes past the hour now. Again, it's happening on the 24th. You can get all the information. We'll post this, too, at kpay.com on our community page. and on our social as well. You'll be able to hear this again on the podcast, on our rewind later this morning. Sean Farley, thank you. We've got more of your local headlines, news, all coming up next. Stay with us.